Welcome back, everybody. I'm going to do a all signs reading for every single sign, so I'll timestamp it below in the comments, and you can just go ahead and fast forward to it or watch the whole thing because every sign will have something that resonates with you. So we're going to kick this off with Aries, and we're going to use Lenormand this time around. And the deck I'm using is the Medieval Lenormand by Libra Moon Incorporated, okay? So we're going to do a 5-line read. Center card is the theme. Maybe I'll pull an oracle card or two. And then from there, end up with some dice if the energy is telling me to do so. All right. So, Aries, kicking off this week coming up, we're seeing what? Fox, deception, be careful, be leery. Watch your surroundings because somebody may be wanting to take advantage of you. So, be a little bit shrewd in your working with others. Always be on guard and a little bit suspicious. Just don't go into it blind with a completely trusting mind because something's kind of running a little bit off. All right. That's you heading into this week. There'll be some immature activity, something new. It'll look like it's okay, but it's actually more of a trap. So this childish behavior is always going to cut into you to confuse you, keep you at bay, right? And then it's going to deliver something to you, maybe via email or something like that, that's going to be a little bit manipulative. All right, that's the snake. So I would say for this week, Aries, be on guard and really watch your back because somebody somewhere wants to get one over on you. And what I'm seeing here, they're going to be very childish in their antics. So maybe online taunting, haunting, keeping an eye on you type of a thing going on. And they're always going to come up with new messages to really hurt you. So you have to just make sure that you can't trust them because they're going to come off like, oh, I'm all nicey nice. But at the end of the day, they're snakes, right? So be very careful of that energy this week coming up, Aries, all right? It may not be the best message, but at least you look at the positive, going into this to be suspicious, right? Don't give everybody a blind trust, right? Vet it all and make sure that whatever they say is actually true. Now I'm going to pull a couple cards from the Vintage Wisdom Oracle. Let's see what it has to say for you. And for this, we have peace. No matter what happens this week, always try to find some time for yourself to find a little bit of peace in the chaos because things get a little hectic. We all lose our minds a little bit and it frustrates us. So don't let it eat you up too much. Always remember you always can step away for a little bit, meditate, reflect, get outside nature and just find, again, peace. And then here we have patience. It'll take a lot of patience so you don't blow your top because Aries is not fireman. Once it goes, you better watch out. So be patient. Don't be impulsive and don't react, right? Step back and be a little bit more passive. And again, don't let whatever they do get to you because the only person that's going to hurt is you, okay? And we'll wind this up with the dice. We have a 9, okay? And what's telling you is if you want to have success this week, then you're going to have to learn to communicate through patience and peace. That's going to give you some balance that you need in order to get what you want. So you'll be fine. But again, don't trust things blindly. All right. That's for all you Aries out there. Now we're going to go to all you Leos. All right. Leos. Your message for this week, again, is a Lenormand pull, 5 cards, and let's see what the theme is. All right, so we got Leos for this week coming up. You're all about the moon, so use your intuition, right? Don't let your emotions take control of you. Be a little bit careful again. Boy, it's almost like guidance. And what's funny too is I'm looking at the 32. Now in Lenormand, the 32 is usually about the house position, but you know me, if you watch my channel enough, I read numerology, so I'm seeing a 32 communication decisions 5. Will it be a good decision or a bad decision? That's only something you can choose on, decide on, but you got to use your intuition, okay? So we're seeing here again, the child comes up again and the snake. So Aries was interesting because it was child here and snake. So the fire sign seems like there would be some really immature activity that where you're going to have to use your intuition in order to overcome that. And then with a little bit of luck, what? You'll be able to get through the crossroads and make the decisions that you need. And didn't I say decisions earlier? That's interesting. So we're seeing with the intuition that you have to really go then to see through the shenanigans, see through all the immaturity, because all that it's designed for is to be manipulative. to basically get you emotional. But you're going to fight that. You're going to combat that by using intuition rather than tapping into the emotional instability of these little games we're playing. And what's funny here too is, well, you have a 13 and a 7, right? What do you have? Well, 20. 20 is a what? It's a 2 decision. So again, make good decisions. And then again, you'll be at a crossroads. That's okay, because that is the direction you're going to take for the rest of the week, right? So again, you see that the childish action is going to make you second guess things. And then that manipulation, you're going to overcome it with a little bit of opportunities that open up to you, because you're going to tap into your intuition, not tap into their games. That's what I'm seeing for you, Leos. Just be a little bit careful, right, coming into it. Boy, these fire signs, right off the bat, snakes. Okay, oracle cards, what we got for the Leos? Okay, that's funny because I shuffled the deck, which you just saw. That card came up. It was the exact same card that came up for Aries. So it's saying tap into your power, because Leos, you're the line. You control it. You own it. So don't let anybody else get in your way. Don't let them get the best of you by making you blow up. Use your intuition. Look at the opportunities around you. You know, a little bit of good fortune is going to come your way. It'll be short-lived, but then make sure that that short-lived opportunity is going to make you go into the right direction. How? Because you control the power. You hold the power. They don't. And then an awakening. That's just so weird. I shuffled the deck and the exact same cards came up for Aries. That you're going to have the aha moment. So once you make that decision, you'll be like, oh my God, that's what was going on? This person was actually trying to play that game with me? Well, guess what? You're not going to have it, okay? And the dice say what? It gives you a 5. So you have to look at the new opportunities that arise this week in order to bring in a little bit of stability. And if you do that, then you'll have 5. You'll have that freedom. But if you don't do that and you give in to this temperament of manipulation, that 5 is going to be an explosion and the fire is just going to go crazy. It's like an inferno just going to pop. So don't give in to that. You hold the power. They don't. And remember that you're going to awaken, have that aha moment, which I told Aries, the exact same thing, that you are going to go, oh my, that's what they're about? Yeah, they were. All right. So Leos, that's the reading for you for this week. So again, just play it cool and things should turn out just fine. Now we're going to go ahead and hit up on Sagittarius. All right, Sagittarius, what we got for you for this week coming up? All right, so the theme for you, Sagittarius, sits around the mountain challenges. So something's going to kind of get in your way. You're going to have a little bit of obstacles, some blockages, maybe some delays, and you just got to be cool with that, be at peace with that, right? Don't let it get to you. Don't let it make you feel like you can't succeed, because you can't. Remember, once you get up the mountain, you can go down. So sometimes the travel up the mountain is a little bit tough, but once you get up there, it's smooth sailing all the way back down, all right? Now, that's the theme. Now we're seeing here too, there'll be a little deception that's going to make you really have to tap into your feminine power, your intuition here, that will help you then overcome the obstacles that are put into play from this weird thing that's going to try to hold you back. And then once you overcome the mountains, then things are going to open up. You have a lot more clarity. The sun's going to be shining bright on you, and your energy is going to be returned to you. So the intuition is going to help you overcome the challenges, and the deception is kind of starting off the week kind of sour, right? And then you're going to end it with a little bit maybe of extra abundance. So maybe this is around something financial, maybe a side gig or a side hustle, something like that. And the issue is going to try to play with your finances, fish, right? Because it flows. But then when you tap into your intuition and realize that the challenges aren't really challenges at all, then again, you're going to open up and have a really good rest of your week and a little bit of extra to spend. That's what I'm kind of seeing right there for you, okay? Now, what does the Oracle have to say? Now, if this card pops up again with power, I'm going to be floored, because the last two readings, even though I'm shuffling for you here right now, you're seeing the cards go, power came up in the first position. So we're going to see what Oracle card comes up in the first position. What we got? Union. What I'm seeing in this card here is for you to manifest positivity so you come together as one. So it's like you're going to union your subconscious and your conscious mind together. So by feeding your conscious mind with positivity this week, the sun, then you can manifest the outcome, a little bit of extra, right? A little bit of abundance, fish, a little bit extra, maybe wealth, income, whatever it might be. So you're going to union rather than always fighting each other. You're going to come together and be at peace. You're going to balance yourself, okay? And then you have a guardian angel. So your guardian angel is going to be overlooking you this week to make sure that you don't get caught up in whatever this coy, this cunning individual is going to try to play against you to make you think like you can't have a better week, that you can't get over the hump to be a little bit more prosperous. So that's the read I'm seeing for you, Sagittarius. Is now the dice here gives me a what? Gives me a 7. So that tells me is that if you make good decisions, right, then that 5 becomes a little bit of freeing for you. But the way you get there is through a 7 by assessing the situation and kind of stepping away from the chaos to rest. So don't get caught up in the person's nonsense. Don't get caught up in their bad behavior that puts doubt in your mind. Instead, tap into that feminine energy and assess it for what it is so you can move forward and have a prosperous week ahead. Okay? Sagittarius, that's what I have for you. Now, next up, we're going to go to Cancers. All right, Cancers, here we go. What is your theme for this week and your energy for the week ahead? So the theme's going to kick off for this week is all a center card with Lenormand, and we have a book. There'll be some secrets, some knowledge, some information that needs to be shared. So something's going to come to light, and I'm not too sure what that might be, but you do, Cancers, you do. And what I find interesting with this particular deck, you see how the book is shaped like a heart, so something emotional. That's what I'm picking up on with this deck, okay? Every deck is different, but this one I'm seeing that. Now we're going to flip these cards over. So there'll be a letter that's going to, oh, that's interesting. There'll be a letter that's going to bring some decisions, going to make certain you have to share something. And when you share it, you may want to try to hold back a little bit, that because you know it's going to end up in a sacrifice of some type. You're going to have to give a little in order to receive a little, right? And so just be careful, right? Don't let your emotions rule you too much this week, Cancer. Take it back a little bit, calm down a little bit. And so when the knowledge is being shared, you know, even though you may want to go a little bit on the deceptive route, don't do it, because remember, what comes around goes around. You have a cross right here, and that's all around what? It could be suffering. It also means you need to be responsible, right? So just be honest and things will clear up. And so that letter is going to be hard to deal with. And the decisions are going to be for you to choose on what you want to share, if you're going to be truthful or not. And that's something only you can decide, Cancer. Only you can decide that, okay? So that's what we're seeing for you this week coming up. So just be open. Don't be malicious. Make a good decision, right? And make sure you head in the right path. And the decision is how you're going to share that knowledge, okay? Are you going to be responsible, or are you going to just go on scorched earth and blowing everything up? That's what's kind of telling you, right? So only you know what this is. And it might be your partner you're dealing with relationship-wise, as an intimate or business. I'm seeing pentacles, so it could be business. But again, too, because of the way the cards are laid out, I'm also kind of feeling a little bit personal here, right? It's telling you they always use love. So, you know, one thing they say, too, when you share information, people don't care how much they know until they know how much you care. So keep that in mind when you share this information. Don't be the fox, right? Don't be the fox. Be love. And when you are loving, what happens? The light comes and deception erases. It's a really good way to be, my friend, okay? And then heal. You're going to heal from this. So even though it's going to be a little bit hard, it's going to put you in a bad position, that remember, you have the words you need to share. You decide what you want to do. Do you want to heal, or you want to be a liar and let it go to hell? Or you want to say, you know what? I'm going to decide to do the opposite of what I want to really do, so that I can be responsible in sharing this information. So I'm not going to make it all about my self-interest, or make it about me trying to get one over on you. I'm going to basically do the opposite and let everything heal and bring it back together again, Cancer. All right. And then for the numbers, we have a 4. That's nice. It means that you have to make a decision here on the 1. What is it you want to share through communication? It's funny, the book, the letter. And if you do it right, that's going to bring you balance, stability, the 4. A good foundation. If you don't do it right, then it's going to make your foundation break. It'll be a tyrannical emperor, for lack of better terms. Anyway, that's what I have for you, Cancers. And so now we're up with Scorpio. All right, Scorpio, let's see what we got going on for you this week. 5 cards, center card theme. Then we read the rest of it in a line to see what is going on for you, Scorpio. Oh, boy. All right. You ready? Me too. We got what? I'm feeling something weird here. So on the fire signs, we're pulling up snakes. In the water signs, we're pulling up crossroads. You got to make a decision. You got to make a decision. What are you going to do this week? That's the theme of it. It's all around a decision of some type, okay? So we got snakes and we got the whip. So there's some toxic behavior that's really causing a lot of anxiety and stress, is forcing into this really weird position of like, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I need to do, because no matter what I do, I keep just feel like it's always this argument, this fight, this conflict, okay? And it's always around somebody's trying to manipulate you. That's what I'm feeling here. And then the decisions you feel like no matter what you do is going to turn into just a total wreck, because it's going to eat away at everything. It's going to start eroding your mind, where it's going to basically make you feel like you have to make a hard change. So Scorpio, this week is really time for you to buckle down, because the change is going to come whether you like it or not. And that change is going to be very emotional, because you're going to feel like you've been deceived or you've been manipulated. All right. And that's going to make you feel like, God, it's the end of the rope. But it's not, because remember, the coffin's all about what? You're going to then rise back up to something better. It's death to self in a sense, right? And that's what this decision is about. Like, how do you choose you want to do that? How do you decide you want to do it? And then the whip is like a continual beating that just continues to bring more anxiety and stress to your life. And again, that's what the decision is about. So you have to learn to overcome that. And if you can overcome that, then guess what? You're going to resurrect to something better. You're going to be reborn to something greater. So don't let it get into your head, and don't let it worry you, because all that's going to do is make you stay up at night and just ruin your entire week. So don't let it, right? Try to just realize that, take everything one step at a time, one day at a time, and things are going to be fine. They're going to be, they always are. They always turn out that way, as long as you don't get in your head and think otherwise, all right? So now we have an oracle card I'm going to pull for you to see what kind of message we can get to help you through a little bit of challenge here, right? Wisdom. Always use your wisdom. What that means is, don't get caught up in your head, because Scorpios, if you get caught up in your head, what happens is you'll feel like it's the end of the line, and it's not the end of the line. It's not. Even though the decision is telling you that it's all around being deceitful and you feel like there's some type of a loss, that's okay, because with wisdom, you can overcome that. Things will always get better. Even though you feel like this whip is like continually beating you, making you always worry, and you feel like you just can't get ahead and you're all stuck in this crossroad, you can overcome it if you use wisdom. Wisdom overcomes all things. Remember, the owl is wise, and so are you, okay? Then we have release. Release the stress. Release the frustration. Just roll with it, right? Again, one day at a time, and you're going to rise, and it's going to work out in your best interest. It always does, right? But you got to give it to the universe to help guide you through it. Now, the dice we have is a 6. That's beautiful, because that means you're going to have your balance back. You're going to have your peace back. How are you going to do that? Well, it says by making a 2 a good decision. By making a good decision, it gives you stability, and that stability and decision together brings you a peaceful, balanced outcome for the week. So it may look like it's kicking off a little bit gloomy, but guess what? End of the day, it's going to end up being just peachy. All right? That's what I got for you, Scorpios. Now, we're going to head over to Pisces. And also, as I'm going through these readings, do you like the Lenormand as well? Is this something that you all enjoy? I like doing them, but I like to hear your thoughts on that. Okay, so Pisces, what do we got going for you this week? All right, the energy for this week is what? 5 cards will tell us all. 5 cards, Pisces, will tell us everything we need to know. Everything. Those are cards I feel like I need to put. You know what? I don't know. I kind of want to. I don't like how this one's so far. I'm going to replace this card with that one. That's what the universe is kind of telling me to do. So we're making a shift here. Okay. So what we got for you? The Star. It's saying that you got to just rely on your hope, and that things are going to be okay. So look for clarity this week. Things are going to work out by networking. You need to network with other people, reach out a little bit, and that will help you give you a good path through the week. And I'm seeing the hearts here too. So again, it seems a little bit emotional for you, Pisces. So maybe love is involved here, or a partnership is involved here of some type. Could be business, it could be personal, I don't know. But you got to network, you got to make connections, you got to rely on hope that things are going to be just fine, right? Again, every deck is read differently. I'm reading this deck this way due to the artwork and just the vibe I'm picking up on, okay? So that's the theme. And then we have clover. So there'll be some opportunities. They're going to, this is actually really nice and lovely. So there'll be some opportunities that's going to come up, small ones and quick ones with a friend. A friend's going to help you with your networking, and your network is going to make you feel maybe a little bit emotional, right? So it looks like going to be happy emotions, hearts. I'm seeing all these, look, all these hearts you're seeing here. So it's a relationship. So maybe there's a person in your life, and maybe your friends will help you network with them and bring together, right? It's going to be a little bit emotional for you, but it's always going to end up in a very good message for you, a good news. So maybe they'll get an email or something like that to say, hey, you want to go out? Hey, you want to go and do something? You want to sync up this week? And it'll be your friend that's going to help drive that forward. And so that's the opportunity, to look for it, and a message is going to come to you. And in the digital age, it could be an email, a text, a phone call, something like that. And then your friend is going to help you make sure that you keep your emotions in check, so you don't get too watery, Pisces, right? And to keep yourself focused and keep yourself clear in the mind, so you don't scare this person away. That's what I'm feeling. That is what I am feeling. All right, now we're going to go ahead and pull a couple of oracle cards here for you, Pisces, to see what it has to say. Okay, so we got Pisces strength. So when you feel defeated, and that's a star as well, you see that? Isn't that cool? Star. So you have the strength to not get too emotional over this, or to not let it get to you. So if you do get a rejection from the person, or they don't reach out to you like you want them to, you have the strength to not show them your cards, right? Don't show any signs of weakness. Don't show any signs of like, oh, this is a bummer. Don't do that, right? You stay true to you no matter what happens. But I think it's going to turn out kind of nice. So, but the point is, it's saying to maintain your position and don't waver, okay? Strength. You hold all the strength, and then reflect. Always keep in mind too that maybe this person's shy, and maybe you could be shy too. So reflect on how you would act sometimes when somebody may have been trying to come in contact with you or ask you out, right? Like, how did you deal with that? Reflect on that, so you don't overreact if you don't get the message that you want. But regardless to say, there's going to be something coming, and depending on how you handle it is going to make the outcome positive or negative. That's your call, and you have it too. So again, with the new opportunity that's coming, you have a decision to make. And I think it's really showing us around the oracle cards is that, remember, you hold the strength to not give in to your emotions, and to always remember how you felt when you were the one asking, or you're the one trying to dine somebody, wine and dine them, right, or whatever. Because that's what I'm feeling like. I feel like it's a date. All right. Anyway, that's what I have for you, Pisces. And now we're going to head over to the Libras. All right, Libras. So what is the current energy for you this upcoming week? What we got going on? We have what? Libra for this week is around challenges. Wow. This card's come up twice now. So you have some challenges to deal with. You have things that might be blocking you or kind of keeping you back from what you want to do. Any projects you're working on? Anyway, this is a theme. I think it's around some kind of communication thing. Key. Boy, she came up again. So the success is going to rely on you. You have to really trust yourself and realize that you're going to make the right decisions to overcome this obstacle, but you're going to tap into your intuition in order to do it. And it's not going to be very straightforward when you first look at it. 9, 10, 11, right? You have to kind of reflect and meditate and look above to really help guide you, because the success will be there, but you have to tap into your intuition to overcome the challenges that are going to be a little bit emotional too. And again, here you have intuition as well, right? So maybe be a little bit creative on the creative side, do things out of the ordinary, and then it's going to work out okay. And see, when I read the cross card, a lot of people read it differently. People will say like, it was just a sacrifice or something like that. I also look at like a resurrection, so a death and rising again. So you may have been down in your luck. That's why you feel so heavy with the mountain right here. And like, you're not even willing to face it. You're looking away, right? This is you. And you're looking away. And because you're looking away, you can't really see the solution so clear. So you have to kind of go within and pray and meditate. And that's why I'm also seeing here the key. So the success really is going to be unlocked by you going within to really know how to navigate this. And then once you do, you're going to then overcome it, be a little bit emotional, also have to trust your intuition, trust your internal wisdom in order to handle the heaviness of the situation to resurrect into something better. So the success, the key is going to unlock this pain point of the challenge to make it no longer a burden. Okay. That's what I'm seeing for you, Libra. So it's going to be a heavy mind week. It's going to be really a lot of intellect to play here, a lot of critical thinking you're going to have to go through. So we'll see how it goes, right? We'll see how it goes. You'll let me know in the comments below, right, as your week progresses. So then we have, Oracle card says gratitude, be grateful though, right? So no matter what happens, be grateful, because when you're grateful for things and things always work out in your best interest, is when you take them for granted, then the sacrifice, the resurrection, the cross, it doesn't work out. It actually ends up flipping it the wrong direction and you're not going to get back up quickly, right? So again, be gratitude, be grateful for everything that you have. So the butterfly, when you do transform, resurrection, you transform, it's going to be beautiful and put you in a very wonderful position. And then it says shadow self. Try something different as you move through this. So who you usually show people you are, do the opposite, your shadow self. That's what I'm seeing. That's how you're going to overcome that. So you're just going to be a little bit outside the box thinking, but it's going to end up being okay. A 9. So through communication, so this is a communication problem of some type, you will find the balance that you need to attain 9, to have a little bit of abundance you're looking for. And that attainment is getting over the obstacles, not letting it get to you too much, right? Moon kind of vibe, so that you can resurrect into something much better, into something greater, right? A better version of you. Remember, with every challenges comes success. With every failure comes success. If you don't ever fail, you can't ever succeed. So you never can have the key. Keep that in mind, okay? All right, so that's what I have for Libra for this week. Now, Aquariuses, you're up next. What do we got for the Aquariuses? All right, Aquariuses, center card is your theme. And we'll see what the energy goes and what it says from here on out. It says the bear. You got to really use your authority and strength this week. You got to really tap in. Sometimes the bear is read as like fantasies too in work, but I'm looking at it more like power. You have to be like that mama bear, right? Male or female, doesn't matter. I'm talking about that energy where like it's protective. You got to just have that bear energy this week, because if you don't, then, you may not be able to lift yourself up. So whatever happens, use your authority. If you want to find that balance you're looking for, use your power. If you want to get ahead and not let anything hold you back, all right? So with that being said, this is you, and you may feel a little bit isolated, and you may also have some issues coming up this week where maybe people are ignoring you and they're trying to ignore your judgment, and that's where authority comes into play. You're the bear. You're not going to allow that to happen, okay? And then you have the house. So if you can keep your power and control your house, this could be your family, this could be your job. You got to maintain stability. So maybe somebody is trying to make you feel like you're not being listened to, or you're being disregarded in a sense. Tower, right? Isolation, feeling alone, and so forth. But that means you have to basically use your power, right? Your strength, in order to maintain the house, to bring it back into an alignment, so that you can then have a really wonderful, joyful week. That's the sun. So even though it may start off kind of feeling a little bit rocky and hard, it'll end up in a very happy, joyful energy at the end of the week. Okay. So even though the power is going to make you feel like you're in a battle, right? Isolation, and then the stability of the house, bringing things together again, security, comfort, but then you have to speak up and not let people roll you over. So that's the advice I have for you. That's the energy that's speaking to us right now. And again, I don't know if it's work or family, but you do. You do. All right, Aquarius, you do. So we'll pull a couple oracle cards to see what it has to say for you. And we got truth. And no matter what, you speak your truth. Don't let them have you say otherwise. Stand up for yourself, and you speak the gosh darn honest truth. Do not bend an inch on that. Because if you don't got truth, you have nothing. Right? Half truths are still a lie. They mean nothing. So be truthful and just tell them how you feel. And then also show your intention. Don't let them walk on you. You use your power with intention. Don't abuse it. It's the intention behind it. What's the intention behind it? To bring stability to your house so that things can then once again be happy. All right? So now we're going to roll the dice, see what it has to say. In Aquarius, we have a 7. And a 7 is telling me you want to communicate clearly. That's going to bring the stability back, right? And that's the 4, which is an Emperor energy as well. So it's going to bring that foundation back that you need. And you're going to get it a 7, which is victory. And how? Through assessing things and not reacting to things. So even though you're using your power and you're being assertive, you're not going to be reactive, right? You're going to be fair in your approach, truthful in your approach, with your intention clear. That's what I have for you, Aquarius. Now we're going to go to Gemini. All right, Gemini, the center theme for you for this week is this woman has come up on every single air sign. This is you. So you're the focus of the week. You're the focus of it. And so there's 2 ways of looking at this. See, I see the 29, which is 11, master number. It's all about tapping into the divine intuition and so forth. So I feel a lot of feminine energy is needed this week. So it's really centering around you. Okay. Then we have what? Okay. There's going to be a change, something new, some type of movement that's going to make you feel there's a loss. And the loss is going to really impact you this week, Gemini. So it's going to be very heavy on the mind. And it almost feels like it's kind of relationship based and also earthly based. So it's maybe something monetary. And you feel like the change is bringing a loss and it's just kind of weighing heavy on you. But then you're going to have to use some wisdom here and the help of a friend to get over it. So the book can mean secrets, but also in this deck it's open, so it's not closed, right? So I'm reading it right now as more like you have the information that's needed to move ahead. The information is needed to help you move forward with a friend, and the friend is going to help you overcome it, right? The new beginning, the change that you are looking for to be done through a friend, a very loyal friend, somebody close to you, is going to help you overcome this loss you feel. But the loss is around the information you have, and it's all around how you choose to use it. That's going to decide if it ends up positive or negative. So Gemini, don't get ahead of yourself and don't be contentious, right? I know you're very sharp and shrewd of the mind, but play it cool and things should work out okay. But again, you got to make some decisions here and let the change happen, right? And make sure that you really trust that friend that you have with the information you're going to give. That's the only way you're going to overcome this loss that you're feeling, right? Okay. And the oracle is going to tell us what? You will have the abundance. See that? So if you make the right decision and trust that friend of yours, then things are going to work out just fine. And again, I do think it's something monetary because this is a pentacle that usually relates to the earth. And you then have knowledge, information to kind of overcome it. So even though you're a little bit in a worried position, things are going to be kind because things will be okay because remember, you will have the abundance because you know how to work through the problem methodically, right? And your friend's going to help you overcome the hump. And then you'll have an awakening and go, okay, why didn't I think about this sooner? Why have I been so stubborn? Well, Gemini, only you can answer that, but realize that your friend, I can't trust this person. Yeah, you can trust them. So trust is everything in situations like this. Now the dice says what? It's a 3. You got to communicate. You got to communicate. That's how you're going to grow. That's how you're going to expand. How? 1, picking the right opportunity, making the right decision to 3 it, to grow it out, and then you overcome the loss, and then you have the abundance you're looking for, right? So that's your reading for this week. Just, be straightforward with your friend. Let them help you through it. Correct, the change is going to come. Change of the guard of some type. The loss will be okay because you have the information you need in order to find the answer, abundance, because had the epiphany moment. All right? That's what I have for you, Geminis. Now we're going to hit on Capricorns. All right, Capricorns, what is the energy for you for this week? All right, your overall theme, your overall vibe for the week is what? Clouds, a little bit of confusion. So maybe there's some misunderstanding coming into the week. Maybe there's a deal you had last week that you weren't quite certain on. A little bit of confusion, but things will clear because the wind is blowing to the past, but in the future, there is no more wind, so the clouds should break, right? That's the theme. Now, the whole situation you're dealing with is some type of a contract that's going to bring you a little bit of security, but you're a little bit unclear on the terms maybe. So the contract that you have, right, bringing clouds, there's some uncertainty around that. And then that's going to make you feel that even though you feel like you're opening up, it's going to bring a little bit of stress because maybe you feel like you're being cheated by somebody. And then The cheating makes you feel like you're in a constant conflict with that person. So the contract may have to be rewritten. So what I'm thinking for you for this week is, rather than just going forward and saying, yeah, we're good, go, no, we're not good, right? So instead, take the contract. That ring is also a contract of some type, an agreement, and restructure it to bring you the security and stability that you want. That way, when the clouds lift, that you're not the one in the position of feeling that you're stressed out, which also means you got to talk this through, because you're kind of feeling like they're not shooting straight with you and that they're always kind of beating you up. So you cannot have success until you overcome this argument that you're in with somebody else. So the contract, again, I'm seeing spades here and I'm seeing clubs. So it's all around maybe a business venture you're trying to kick off the ground, because when you look at the clubs, that's around passion and fire, and you have three of them. But then the spades are mapped usually to the air, which is your mind. So your mind's in conflict, a little bit of turmoil, and that's okay. So just make sure the contract is rewritten and do not agree to it just to agree. Make sure that it's also on your terms, because that's important, Capricorn. That is important. Boy, it's funny, earth sign, and you have that earthly kind of a vibe with a contract at play here. So again, just protect yourself, right, Capricorn? That's what I'm seeing. And the Oracle tells you what? It's time for a change. And maybe the change is like, you guys speak up and no longer let people roll you over. So don't just go along with something to go along with it. Challenge it, right? Challenge the status quo. And then listen with intent, okay? And then repeat what they said to you to make sure that it's understood. If you don't agree with something during your listening, speak out to protect yourself. And then here we have a 6. If you want to have the peace, you got to choose to stand up for yourself so you can find that stability or that solid foundation between this new ordeal you're dealing with. And that will then bring you a 6 of balance back to this contract of some type, right? The agreement. All right, Capricorn. That's your read. Now, next up is Taurus. Taurus. All right, Tauruses, what do we got? All right, the overall theme for you, Taurus, for this week is, you got to make a quick decision on something, and there's going to be a little bit of pain, a little bit of things are going to be in your way, maybe a little bit of shock and awe going on. So it's a cycle that needs to break. That's kind of the theme. It's not the read, it's the theme of the read. So then we go into here and see, like, what is this all about? Well, there's going to have to be a serious change, a transformation of some type. You're going to have to basically do a little bit of suffering that's going to be around maybe a relocation of some type, or maybe some type of a new start. And the new start is going to make you feel frustrated, make you feel like, oh man, really? I got now. I just thought I had everything good. Now I got to start over again. What the heck, man? And then it's also going to be a little bit of manipulation sitting up in your way this week. So this change that you have to make, you have to cut away the deception. You have to cut it away to get it out of your head so that the confusion is going to clear. So you're going to go into something where you're going to end up feeling that you have to make a sacrifice. It's going to bring a little bit of confusion on what has to change very quickly. The Taurus is saying that you have to also make a change that feels a little bit like it's not safe. That's why he's feeling it's cutting away. But you have to do it if you want to basically get over the clouds. So if you want to bring clarity, you have to overcome the problem. All right. And the problem is that you got to just make a decision to go for it, right? Not let anything hold you back. But it's going to be challenging. It's going to be hard, but it's going to be a cycle that you have to break. And so maybe it's because you're always caught up in your own head too much, right? And what I'm seeing too in this reading is a lot of clubs. So it's around your desires and your passions. They're kind of feeling a little bit up in turmoil, a little bit up in torment right now. And then your heart's a little bit at play because this change, this movement is a Queen of Hearts. And so it's really weighing heavy on you. But then the King of Pentacles knows, I think it's the King of Pentacles or the King or the Joker or whatever. That Pentacle card is like, you have to do it because it's going to put you in a better position than you are right now. So this change has to happen. You have to go with it. You have to overcome the manipulation that's going to really bother you. And it may feel like a little bit of betrayal at times. It may feel like people are trying to one up on you, all trying to bite your heels. But again, you have to decide. You can just cut it away. And then when you cut away manipulation, you're going to have the misunderstanding lift, right? The confusion lift because the cloud's blowing this way in the past and yet it opens up going to the future. So things are going to work out, but it's going to come off, begin and feeling a little bit heavy and a little bit all over the place. Okay, Taurus, that's what I'm seeing for you. So just be careful, use good judgment, and just don't be afraid just to run with it, right? Sometimes you can't have success unless you're willing to try something new. And the death here is saying, the sacrifice is saying, you have to sacrifice, you have to basically die to something, deal with the pain of it in order to have something better. Okay, because the death brings a change, and the change is something that's going to be a little bit frustrating, feel a little bit deceptive, right? Maybe people lied to you about a few things, but that's going to help lift the confusion, all right? And then the oracle says what? Strength. You need your strength this week. So make sure you tap into that and don't ever give up. Stars, hope too. So keep the hope, keep your faith, and keep strength, and you're going to get through this just fine, because you have to think through the problem. You can't be reactive. You have to be very calculated. So think about it. Before you do anything, think, and then make your move. All right. And then the dice says what? You have a 8. So it's saying that you're going to have to communicate or be very creative to overcome the 5, the struggle you're dealing with, that brings you the 8, the strength to continue to carry on, to move forward. Right. That's the power that you're going to need this week to get through it. Anyway, that's what I have for you, Tauruses. And now we're going to see what's up for Virgo. All right, Virgo, we got what? Letter. There's going to be some type of communication coming, some type of news. It could be in the mail, it could be social media, it could be from a friend, who knows, but it's about a message coming to you this week. And I have no idea what it's about yet. We flip the other cards over, but that's what it's about. You're expecting some type of a news, some type of communication with somebody or someone. And boy, the stork comes up again, huh? So there's going to be some type of movement that's going to feel a little bit deceptive. So you have to be very careful, because the deception is going to bleed over into this news that you're going to pick up on, and you're going to feel like it's a bunch of lies and hogwash. So then this is you, have the network. So whatever happens, whatever you hear, don't believe it at first take. So vet it, right? The letter is going to be given to you. You're going to have to tap into that feminine energy, use your intuition, 11 master number, maybe tap into the divine a little bit, and then use your network that you have to basically find the answer, to get clarity over this confusion, because something's moving very quickly. It's going to be a change. It's going to come at you, but it's also going to feel like it's not honest, right? And then that letter that you're going to receive, you have to really go within to assess it, to make sure that it is what it's supposed to be, and then trust your network of people that you know around you to find the clarity and guidance you need to move through it. So that's the feeling and the vibe I'm getting for you, Virgo, and I have no idea what that message is about. Now, what I am seeing, maybe try out about, I'm seeing 2 hearts, so that's something emotional, maybe relationship. I'm seeing the spades here, which is the mind. So it'll be mind as well. So 2 and 2, and then 1 of the fire, desire. So it's almost like the manipulation won't be so strong, because your strength within is going to overcome it, and your mind will overcome it. So you're going to be able to see through it and get the clarity that you actually need. Okay. Yep, that's how I'm seeing it too. Again, most people read the star as like, hope or something like that. But in this card here, I'm looking at more like a networking type of a thing. You reach out to people that you know. So that can also be read as networking. So it doesn't always have to be hope or faith or whatever, right? Depending on the deck. So I'll tell people too, when you read these cards, the deck means everything. You read it by the image as well. Then we have union. So when I said you have to kind of go within the master number 11. Well, union, what? You're tapped in the upper world to lower world, your subconscious to your conscious to manifest your reality. So you have to kind of clear your thoughts and bring yourself together, right? Get yourself together and don't let yourself be split down the middle between manipulation or whatever else. Instead, trust your guide, your spirit guide, your connections, whatever it might be, and that's going to help you bring the togetherness that you need to move through this. And then we have transition. It's a time for change for sure, because remember, stork comes up in the first position, so there's definitely a change going to happen for you. It's going to be positive, I'm feeling, but you're going to have to be able to see through the manipulation that's coming at you pretty quick. All right. And then we have a 4. So again, it's all around decisions. You have to choose. And this is the two twos, right? Which is a four. So I'm looking at kind of like double the energy. You have to really step back, assess this really carefully, that letter right here, to bring the stability that you need to move forward. So again, good decisions this week, and make sure that you're very clear on everything that you do. So that's the reading I have for all 12 signs for this week. And I would like to hear your thoughts below. And we're going to end this with an overall message for everybody on the Oracle Shadow Self. Every one of you signs this week: Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo do the opposite. So what this means is if people know who you are, do the opposite. Do your shadow self. Don't do your true self. In the sense like, be free a little bit, right? Break the boundary, break the norm. Don't always be who they want you to be. Maybe your true self that you thought it was a charade, and maybe your shadow self is your true self. You see where I'm going with this? Let some of this energy leak out, and you'll be amazed at what it might bring you. Okay, and we'll pull one more card. Transition. This was saying it's like you have to change now. It's time for a change. You can't always sit and be the same thing you always were. It doesn't work anymore, right? If you want that change, you want the success in life, you want to get ahead in life, you're going to have to basically recognize who you really are and then make the change to become that. So maybe through all these years, you become hardened and you put on this facade for other people. That needs to end. It's time to be your shadow self. Be a little more freeing and let that change just happen. So that's what I got. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If you did, drop me a comment below. And if you want to book a reading, wordofthetwist.com, book a reading. I'll be there waiting. And until next time, I want to see everybody on my next reading. All right. Bye now.